You are listening to The Fatboy Show on RX Radio, and today is Thursday, the 16th of February. It's a public holiday. It's Janan Luwum Day, a day in which we're commemorating a very famous clergyman who in the era of Idi Amin was quite vocal regarding the injustices that were being perpetrated by the government. And speaking out on those injustices ended up costing his life.
There is also something else you're not mentioning. He was colluding with rebels.
Is that a fact, though?
Yes, he was, because one man's liberator is another man's rebel.
Was he actually colluding?
He was. He was giving them information. He was hiding people that were against the then government of Idi Amin. Yes.
Okay, well, I feel like for me, my own knowledge and experience of Janan Luwum comes in the form of his depiction in the classic film Rise and Fall of Idi Amin. Who can forget that horrible scene where we see the character of President Amin confronting the Archbishop and then shooting him in the mouth is what I remember. I think he stuck the barrel in the bishop's mouth and pulled the trigger. It was gruesome. So in many people's minds, he's a hero. And we even have one of the main streets in downtown Kampala named after him.
Yes.
And now we have a day honoring him.
Yes, we have a day. He was really vocal against the injustices of the time. And you know, what do you do when you're against the injustices? You will get in bed with the people that are trying to fight the same injustices. And I don't know, is it on record that that's how he was killed? Because what I know is that he disappeared.
Yeah, there could have been some creative license taken on by the people that produced that film. So yeah, I think you're right. There's no clear understanding of how he was actually killed. But we know that he was most likely killed.
Yes.
And it was terrible. If he were alive today, would he be speaking out on the injustices? In Uganda today, we mostly see that the clergy is quiet. Possibly because they like the government, for reasons you are free to speculate on. But it could be related to emoluments and vehicles.
There is that, especially clergy from a certain denomination that I won't mention, but the one that came later on, the one that was not brought by the missionaries of them days.
That one.
Yes, that one. Today, there are a few sections of the clergy that have been actually very vocal, especially from like the Catholic Church.
Really?
But there is, of course, conspiracy around some of the things that have happened to some of them. Like, for instance, the Bishop of Kampala, who was very vocal during the last elections in 2021, and then he mysteriously died in his sleep.
Come on now.
Like I said, conspiracies. But honestly speaking, have conversations with people. You will be surprised by the things they believe happened. Like I said, conspiracies.
Well, there's certainly a lot that one might want to speak out on. There's allegations of torture. Of course, these allegations don't always end up, don't always end up being solved or substantiated. Mostly they are denied. And the latest being one incident of a man bearing scars on his chest. It's a picture that went viral a couple of days ago, and people are still talking about it, of this opposition activist that appears to have been tortured.
Yes.
At the hands of state operatives. I don't know what they did to his chest, but it was a gruesome, painful-looking injury.
It looked like he was burnt by a flat iron. The shape of his injuries was more like the kind of the shape of a flat iron.
Well, mostly we're seeing denials by the people in the security forces. We're seeing a lot of denials of these allegations, and we have even, I don't know who it is I think I saw Kasinje, although he's not really part of police, is he?
Yes, Asan Kasinje.
I saw him tweeting out that it should be investigated. Which is a good thing. Meanwhile, Felix Kulaije, Brigadier General Felix Kulaije, who's the army spokesperson, said in a tweet that none of the security agencies had Mwesigwa tortured. And apparently they have investigated the matter, and this is their conclusion. But isn't it premature to say that?
Well, he said that after a thorough investigation, I think what he's trying to imply is that they checked with their security operatives from different departments, and they discovered that none of them had in custody Mwesigwa. So the wounds that he has, he was advised that he should file a report with the Uganda Human Rights Commission and of course report a case to police so that they can start investigations into the matter and the allegations. But you saw the pictures, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to love or hate the government or be in bed with them, but honestly, would you think that someone did that to themselves?
Well, anything is possible. There was a tweet that was initially attributed to the Uganda Human Rights Commission in which they were being dismissive about the allegation. And I think they were even accusing the victim of some tricks, to which later on they came out and said that tweet was fake.
Okay.
So they seem to, Uganda Human Rights Commission, obviously, coming out to make it clear that they're not denying these allegations or that they're not being dismissive of them. What I have not seen them do is to come out to pledge to investigate it thoroughly. So I don't know what plans they have for doing that.
And, the other thing is if Kulaije says that they didn't have Bobby Young, that is his tweet name, if they didn't have this Mwesigwa guy in their custody, then how come on today is Thursday, how come there was a news report on Tuesday where 2 UPDF soldiers were remanded and awaiting sentencing, and Bobby Young's case postponed for what is it called for hearing on 7th March, because it is said that him and the other 2 UPDF soldiers were spreading propaganda against the government.
Wow.
So where has he been? Isn't he the same guy that was almost strangled when he complained in the army court that he had been on remand for far too long?
Now, it's being claimed that the alleged victim hasn't filed a police report. Is this true?
That's what they're saying. And they're advising him to file a police report. But he was on remand.
This is what he's claiming?
Yes.
But was he under official remand?
He was.
What was he charged?
He had been apprehended, and he was. His case is under the army court, not the civilian court.
Ah, okay. So as expected, there won't be much transparency there.
Exactly.
And what happens when you're in the custody of the army? It's anyone's guess. Well, it's terrible. The injuries were horrific, and in fact, if they were inflicted on him by agents of the state, that needs to be investigated, and people need to be held accountable for that. I don't know too much about this guy. He's not a political figure who's well known. I've not seen him sort of make waves.
I also don't know much about him, but what I know for sure is that he's one of Bobby Wine's bodyguards, and he disappeared. And then this is what happened to him.
So sad, so sad. And on this, Janan Luwum Day, in which we are celebrating the life of a hero of Uganda who spoke out against injustices, I guess let today be the day that we give this issue the due, attention that it deserves. And let's call upon those involved and those in charge to follow up on it and find out exactly what happened. And may eventually justice be served.